Welcome back to my series exploring the similarities and differences of roles in both League of Legends and Dota 2 through the lens of mechanically similar characters. This episode will cover the role most consistent between the games, the mid. Since there are so many different playstyles and heroes seen in the mid lane, I chose the champion Akali and the hero Void Spirit to each represent the trope of hyper-mobile nuker. The mid-role in both games is notoriously the most try-hard position on the team. It's a one-on-one with towers relatively close to each other, where ganks to and from happen very often. You're not usually a tank or playing in duos like your allies in the side lanes, and your smallest mistakes are the most easily punished. Most crucially, you are centered on the map and contribute to many plays around it with minimal travel time. It's also the lane with the most mechanically demanding heroes, and where quite often the strongest mechanical players prefer to sit. It's still a team game though, so don't let that ego get in the way of victory. Now, before we go any further, I must make a confession. Akali and Void Spirit are both flooded with mobility and damage, and maintain a play pattern somewhere between committal assassin and sustained DPS. Their kits, on the other hand, are very different. Akali's Q is primarily just damage, while Void Spirit's is a ranged charm. No wait, taunt? In Dota, most heroes have some sort of reliable crowd control. In contrast, Akali has no significant CC in her entire kit. Both heroes have their W as their mid-combat evasion tool. Akali goes invisible with a speed boost, Void Spirit does some portal hopping. Their third spell has nothing in common. Another 2 dashes for Akali, and an AoE nuke and self-shield for Void Spirit. Keep that difference in mind as we look into their ultimates. Both ults are dashes with damage that can be cast twice. Akali can dash to a target and re-dash wherever. Void Spirit goes... It's basically Akali's ultimate recast with 2 charges. Now, remember how I mentioned the 2 dashes on Akali's third spell? Akali is for League of Legends one of the most mobile champions, and the same can be said for Void Spirit and Dota 2. The thing is, in a game where everyone and their grandma has a dash, you need the bonus dashes to stand out. On the other hand, having just 1 dash is a luxury in Dota, and 2 makes you a mobile god. Instead, Void Spirit has access to hard CC on his Q. Yet again, League is about mobility, whereas Dota is about committal and crowd control. So far, we've looked at their skills individually, but what's unique in the case of Void Spirit is that there is a clear combo sequence to his kit. This is really rare in Dota. You can ult in to apply a slow, use that to set up for the fear, that in turn helps you with the burst damage of the portal hop, mix in your shield nuke somewhere, and dash out to end the combo. In League, a large collection of champions have combos like this. People will tell you to press your buttons in a specific order for almost any champion, as many of them are designed with combos in mind. Dota's combos are almost never predetermined by design of the hero, it's just that the spells are strong individually, without always requiring a follow-up. Another thing to note here is that Void Spirit has 4 damaging abilities. Not including auto attacks, most heroes in Dota have just 1 or 2. League, on the other hand, has a lot more damage coming out of kits, where even roots, slows, and dashes can do high damage. Okay, enough about the champion design, what about the roles? Well, it's mid. You know what it is about. You control the wave, trade with your opponent, gank the side lanes when you have the power and the space, and sometimes your ally comes mid and ganks for you instead. There are a couple of differences. For starters, there's a courier in Dota to deliver items you've bought, so there's no need for downtime when you go back to base and return to lane. This means that health and mana management can be much more important, as there's no expected refill whenever you go shopping. Another difference is that the jungler in League will sometimes need your help to secure the Scuttle Crab, a small contested mob in the river. Meanwhile, in Dota, you yourself may need some help to secure the power room. These are temporary bonuses that spawn in the river every couple of minutes and can give you bonus damage, movement speed, invisibility, and a few other bonus effects. Not only that, but picking one up refills your bottle, Dota's equivalent of Corrupting Potion. This bonus health, mana, and power-up can help you win mid, and more often can enable much earlier ganks from you into the side lanes than your opponents may be ready for. Final major difference is on how minion control is maintained. Both games have identical concepts in slow pushing and in freezing. Dota introduces into the mix denying and psychic creep aggro, where creeps know that you're about to attack an enemy without you actually doing so. It's the attack command, and not actually the attacks or spells themselves, that draw creep aggro. And that's basically it for general gameplay of the mid-roll. Aside from a couple of small differences, the mid-roll from both games play almost the same. So much so that if you're a mid-main in one game, you could probably learn the other pretty quickly. Items are more of the same that you've seen before in League. More damage for the assassin, as always. In Dota, there's no easy way to scale the damage output of your abilities through items, so a mix of survivability and utility end up working best. The hyper-mobile mid, an assassin with the balls to actually lane, looking at you Evelynn and Kayn mains. Whether you love them or hate them, they exist in both games, with a playstyle so similar that it's a bit amazing what convergent design has produced. Thank you again for watching this, my third video of the series. Like, share, sub and stuff, and I'll see you around.